Kate, thank you so much for joining me for this little interview, partly to celebrate the Independent Impact 50, but mainly to celebrate you as one of the inaugural inductees in the Independent Hall of Fame, so to speak. Just wanted to ask you a few questions about your experience of being involved and on independent practice more broadly. So I guess the first question is very straightforward, is, when you got the email to say, congratulations, you're part of the initial 50, how did you feel and why?
I mean, I felt so excited and obviously incredibly grateful to you guys for having organised this amazing initiative. So, big thank you again for making all of this happen. I felt like it was a kind of moment in time for all of us, not just for me, but for the whole sector to have this awards. I think it helps us all feel as independent consultants, acknowledged for what we've achieved and that we have, I think, felt I'd arrived and I know what I'm doing. It's almost like a kind of a self-validation coming of age moment. But it's also a bit like having a big job title in an organization, which you don't get as a freelancer. And I think the awards give you that moment to really realize, actually, this is what I've achieved moment. So again, thank you so much.
And that is what we're hearing from many, and it warms our heart genuinely. So you've been doing this for a while now. So what I'm interested in is, if you look at the clients that you've worked with, what behaviours have most surprised you from clients, be they hopefully positive behaviours, and if we're open and honest, some of the anonymised behaviours that were perhaps less positive?
I mean, I was actually genuinely surprised when I first started out, and that was, dare I say it, 15 years ago, how much people did want to work for me and how long they wanted to work for me for. So one of my first clients worked with me for 5 years. One client worked with me for 12 years. So I was really genuinely surprised at the extent to which, once we got that working relationship going, how long that would go on for. And I think that comes down to the kind of personalization that you can give people as a freelancer. And I think it just seemed like a kind of perfect, like almost like a glove was kind of like fitting perfectly. I was able to give them the special experience they needed. I was able to tailor the work to their needs, my time, and also their budget. And it just gave them surprisingly the flexibility that everybody was looking for, but also equally gave them the senior level consultancy at affordable prices compared to an agency, for example. So actually, I overall had a fantastic experience. And unfortunately, I can't give you any kind of juicy gossip as to what went wrong, but actually, it all did go really well. So I've been really lucky in that sense, I guess.
Really wonderful, and obviously good to hear. So let's shift gear. Imagine that you're sitting with Alistair and Sarah, the respective CEOs of the CIPR and PRCA. If there was one thing that you'd like them to understand about practicing as an independent, and also about the role and importance of the independent sector overall, what would those things be?
I think the best comparison is looking at the SME sector as a whole across the whole UK compared to, say, a large company. If you look at the overall SME sector as a whole, it's worth 2.8 trillion compared to, say, large businesses, which were worth 2.5 trillion. Now, if we were to deploy that example and compare that to, say, independent consultants versus large agencies, I do wonder whether we'd actually find a similar comparison in terms of how well we're doing. But also looking to the future, we're already seeing significant growth in the number of independent consultants employed by PR agencies. So actually, I think we're really big. I think people have underestimated for a long time the scale of what we can provide and what we can contribute from an economic point of view, but also potentially the future for how maybe it's actually going to be a hybrid model in the future where PR agencies are going to need more freelancers and we end up actually blending as a sector. So really it's scale, impact and expertise is what I would say we really do need to be looking at.
Absolutely. Combined income bigger than the top five UK agencies, according to some research that I
Yeah,
saw. So, yes,
amazing.
absolutely. So, let's imagine we're winding the clock back 15 years and you're having a chat with your younger self. and your younger self is considering going it alone and setting up as an independent, what would you say to the younger Kate based on those 15 years of experience?
So I worked in-house 15 years before I did 15 years of freelance. And I remember my husband saying to me for ages, why don't you do this? And I waited until I was actually had children before I went freelance. And I would say, absolutely go for it, but do it much earlier than I actually did it. It's just given me everything I needed from flexibility, using my skills and honing them, and working on the projects I really, really want to work on. So just do it earlier, jump in, go for it.
Fascinating. Well, positive noises there. Wonderful. And last question. So obviously we live in strange times. If you were to pick some words that sum up how you feel about the next 12 months for you and your micro business, what words would you use?
Well, I've won three awards over the past year, not just this one, but also CIPR, but also Business Green. And my kids have now all finished their A levels. And suddenly my brain is going, ping, what more can I do? This is exciting. What other opportunities are there out there for me? And so I'm just looking and opening my mind up to what else can I do? Is it more being a content strategist, for example? Is it broadening out the subjects I cover? So, yes, for me, the next year feels exciting.
Wonderful. Well, I have to say, with not a jot of sycophancy, you are one of the leading lights in independent practice. Even before I went out on my own, I was aware of you. So thank you for all that you do within and for the sector. I obviously hope you'll be entering this year again. And best of luck with the year ahead. And thank you for your time today.
Thanks so much, Rod. It's so lovely to chat to you.
Likewise. See you soon.